S&OP Community Weekly Podcast, brought to you by Ahmed Khalid and Ahmed Al-Hamamsi from Middle East. Our Global S&OP Community Podcast mission is to build a global community from supply chain, marketing, trade marketing, sales and finance all over the world, where everyone's voice could be heard and listened. Every week, we host a new episode with great thought leader in the S&OP industry. We believe that one word, one story, or one conversation could open up the light in the screen of your consciousness and you'll never be the same again. We discuss hot and trending topics with our subject matter experts by asking the right questions that uncover their valuable experience in our show. You can visit our website ahmedkhaled.co. Stay tuned every week with our Global S&OP Community Podcast. Hey. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all those beautiful people who are listening and watching us right now around the globe. Welcome again to our Global S&OP Community Podcast with another episode and another magnificent thought leader today. Just to remind you about our mission is to build a global community, and not only from supply chain, but also from marketing, trade marketing, sales, and finance all over the world, where everyone's voice could be listened and heard at the same time. And in case if it's the first time for you, you are tuning in, you could ask this question to yourself: and what are we doing in this podcast, especially? And what we are doing, we interview CEOs, executives, global thought leaders, especially in the business and S&OP field, to uncover their valuable experience to our community. And to be honest with you all, we are so excited today for this episode. And simply because today we have a very compelling topic. It's not easy to be understood, and at the same time, it's very common nowadays for most companies. Our topic today is how to manage during the acquisitions or mergers between companies, especially when you look at it from a leadership lens. And what makes this episode very special, and we are actually very excited because we have a real guest and very special guest today who will uncover this hard topic. And I would say, like, he blended in a mixer and put it in a very simple way so you can digest it. Our guest today is
Yes, our guest today, of course, was Mr. Sherif Salah, a colleague, a friend, a manager, a CEO, a general manager, emphatic leader, with multinational experience, with over 30 years of experience. He studied accounting, business management. He worked in marketing. He worked in sales for years all over GCC in Saudi Arabia, in UAE. He started also working, of course, from sales to move to general management, and I was lucky, me and Ahmed, to work under his management for years in our previous company. Then also he moved from UAE, Saudi, to Egypt, where he is leading now a company, a big company there, which is Tag-El-Mlook. Of course, it's a big company, that big FMCG group. and he's the CEO there. And Mr. Sharif, of course, not only that he has this 30 years of experience, but we can say he's a real emphatic leader, and he's a people manager. And there's always it's not only that it's a work environment, but it's also fun environment, and we have a lot of great memories together. So we're so excited today to have our guest
Definitely.
Sharif Salah.
Definitely. Before also we introduce Sharif, as usual, let's give him the best applause.
Hello, hello.
Hello, guys. And
Good.
thanks a million for this kind introduction. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be with you guys.
We're
Same
so
here.
excited, Wallah. Thank
Same
you
here, Sharif.
for joining.
Thank
It's
you.
my
And
pleasure. My pleasure.
honestly speaking, today, as I mentioned, it's very compelling topic. And with your 30 years of experience, I think that we will have, as we speak, always a knowledge that we will not find in books. That's why we are very, very excited today about it. So,
Same.
if you allow me, just I'll start with the first question, I think, which is very compelling question. I think many people they misunderstood the difference between acquisition and merging and joint ventures. So,
Yeah.
based on your 30 years of experience, can you please let us know what's the difference between acquisition, merging, and joint ventures?
Yeah. I will try to put them in a very simple, straightforward format. Merger, it's when two big entities decide to dilute and form a new entity, like ExxonMobil. It used to be
Yes,
Exxon and Mobil, and then they merged
yes,
together to be an ExxonMobil. So this is a pure merge, and usually there is no cash between this transaction, and they come up with a new stock uh, for the people. So this is the merge between two big entities coming up. They dilute and they come up with a new entity. When it comes to acquisition, it's a complete takeover. It's a big company
yes.
decide to acquire or to buy a smaller company. I'm not talking here about the reasons. There are a big bunch of different type of reasons why companies would decide to go into a merger or to acquire another company. There are a lot of reasons, but this is how it works. And then we have a joint venture. A joint venture, it's when two big entities decide to form a new company for a specific tactic or strategic objective, and they don't dilute. They stay as they are, and they just form this joint venture for a reason. And it could be an ongoing, or it could be for a certain period of time. So these are the main three topics that we are talking about. Definitely, if you would like to go to the second question, but before that, I will tell you that usually any one of them is impacting the people significantly.
Yes.
But when it comes to joint venture, it's the easiest, and usually it's positively perceived because there is a new opportunities, people working, leadership working, or talents working in the two big companies. When the two companies decide to form a new joint venture, it's an opportunity to get people from here and there and to grow into this. So the impact on people here is minimal. Actually, it's better.
Yes.
When it comes to merger, it's the extreme opposite because suddenly you have a two CEOs, you have a two
Yeah.
CFOs, you have a two sales directors, blah blah blah. So it's duplicated. So here it's huge panic takes place. When you go to acquisition, it's less impact, but again, once you started knowing that the company has been acquired, the questions of do I fit? What will going to be the new culture? Should I be here, or my capabilities will be needed or not, and so on. So the whole fear and panic starts. Hope
Yeah.
I will
Yes. Yes.
answer your
Yes.
question.
It's very easy to be understood. May I ask you just one question here also because it's very also it's not easy one in terms of acquisition, and I like the definition that you put it in terms of acquisition. the mother company will swallow a small company, right?
Yes.
In that stage, I would say, I know that you have in this stage many times, multiple of times, with your great experience. From this experience, uh, do you think that the mother company and the hierarchy and leaders in that level of this company is being prioritized when it comes to acquisition and swallow the small company, or it will be a fair decision based on who is doing what?
Let me understand your question again. So,
Sure.
for the bigger company, you mean when they acquire the smaller company,
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
the leadership in the bigger company would think who, how to deal with the smaller company? This is the question.
I say that when you have merging or acquisition, let's say,
Acquisition.
so
Yeah.
yes, acquisition or even merging, I think
Yeah.
that hierarchy will be impacted anyway. Some of the overheads will be also, merging
Yeah.
or just interfered at a certain point of time. So
Yeah.
when it comes to that decision, when definitely there will be some people that they will be laid off or just prioritized. When I have acquisition, it means
Yeah.
that there is a mother company will
Yes.
swallow another company, right?
Yes.
In that
Will
time, the
take over.
priorities will be always for the mother company or for the swallowed company, I would say.
لا, the decision makers would always be in the mother company. يعني the
Yeah.
final the final decision, because it's complete power. The power is basically in the mother company. But it's again all about the management style and the leadership style of this big company. Uh, is it an opportunity to push some leaders and put some people in the new acquired company to because they trust them and they trust that they know the business, so they just put them, imposing them by parachute in this smaller company, regardless of what negative impact this would impact the smaller company. Versus, it happens sometimes that way, versus like the latest acquisition I have attended, because
Yeah.
in my 30 years of experience I have attended very successful acquisitions
Yeah.
and lousy acquisitions.
Yes.
And it's all, as I mentioned, about such decisions that you are rightly putting your hand on. Uh, the successful acquisitions, usually that, let's first assess the capabilities of the people in that new company, you know. And I would start with the successful one that I have been recently in, because the bigger company is Dr. Oetker, which is a
Yeah.
huge German company
Yes.
that they are operating in 40 countries.
Yes.
And when they acquired this company, Tag-El-Mlook, they just picked a new CEO, because the previous one was the owner who left, and they picked a CEO, and they allow me يعني all what I need to take my decisions regarding the people. And the
Great.
starting point that I have done, the head office was, they want us to think global and to act local. So number one, we need to respect the local talents, and that the company is in Egypt. It's not in Germany.
Yeah.
It's not in Europe even.
Yes.
They choose me because they know that I can speak the language, I know the culture, I can assess the situation over here, and also I have worked in a lot of multinationals. So again, I can speak their language, and I can be in between in this transition, difficult transition
Please.
period.
Yeah.
The starting point that I choose to make it successful is that the first thing I brought the people and I told them, I'm not here to teach you a new ways of doing business. You are already very successful company. And
Yes.
that's why Dr. Oetker acquired you and paid a lot of money.
Yes.
So it's not
Yes.
about that you have done anything wrong. You have done a lot of good things and very good things. And I am here to continue building together. And I decided that I will not judge any person of the management team in the first couple of months. We
Great.
started. The most important thing that I am not a CEO who is sitting in an office and just looking into reports and numbers and blah, blah,
Yes.
blah. It's all about meeting the people, speaking with the people, talking to the people, and assessing who will be ready for the change and will run with me and will be happy about the new ideas and the change, because it's a change, either we like it or
Yes.
not. And these people are the easiest. They are capable and they want to run with you for the change. Then there is people in the middle that they
Resist.
are at the middle, they are accepting, but they don't know how to do it. So this
Yeah.
is the fear. The fear is all what they are thinking about. Uh, so probably they don't have the capabilities or the know-how, but it's not about just resisting to resist, because you have the third group, which are resistance. They resist and they will pull you backwards. So at
Yes.
the beginning, you need to classify the people to these three groups: who are ready for the change and will run with you, who are in the middle, they are not against the change, but they don't know how to do it. So here you need to invest, because these people are worth investing in, because they are from the company and they know the business inside out. And then you need to know what the minimum number of people that will going to be resisting and pulling you
Yeah.
backwards. So this is the first point. Then I started to focus on these good people. They are all good people, but are they playing in the right places? Are they located in the
Right
place? And as
departments
an
or
example,
yeah.
let me give you an example. I found a very good guy. He was handling administration department, procurement department, warehouses, and
All,
marketing.
all this.
Okay,
Wow.
all this. So how come?
Uh,
So I told him, I don't see you in marketing. We really need to hire a marketeer, but I see you putting all this together and building a real supply chain function. Let's
great.
call it
Oh,
supply chain function. And to show him that I am committed to this, I immediately allowed him to go to supply chain course, a heavy one, so that he
good.
understand and get well trained on that.
Great.
And a year down the road, at the beginning, he was very worried. Why are you
Yeah.
taking marketing function from me? I
Yes.
have been
Yes.
always the marketing
Normally.
guy. Yeah. But after that, and nowadays, he's so happy and he found himself and he learned a lot and he is adding a lot of value to the company, you know?
Great. Great.
So the starting point was that, first of all, showing the people in the small company, show them respect and
Yes.
trust them and tell them
100%.
that I'm not here just to kick you out and to bring new people. Why should I? Let's
Yes.
work together and really assess them and put the right people in the right places. The other point was I started to immediately do roundtables.
Yes.
So every 10 days, I asked HR to bring like 10 to 15 employees, frontliners from the security department, from working on the lines in the factory, salesmen, accountants, any mix. And the roundtables were three parts. Number one, I introduce myself to them. And I always make sure not to tell them that I am the guy who worked in a lot of multinationals and I have a lot of knowledge that,
Yeah.
and I am here to teach you how to do
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
No, I always start by telling them that I started my career. I am proud to tell you that I have started my career a van salesman. So
Yes.
I was a van salesman. I was carrying cases on my shoulder. I was putting them on the shelves
Yes.
and blah, 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 blah. The message here that I want you to know, that I want them to understand, is that I am not that type of CEO who is just don't understand or feel what they are
Yeah.
facing. You know,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so it's building the bond with
And
these
trust.
frontliners
Yeah.
and the trust. So
Yes.
after that, they know that whatever decisions I'm taking, the guy he knows he is one of us. He is not
Yes.
that type of coming with a parachute,
Sitting on. Yes.
CEO, sitting in the AC
Yeah.
and driving a fancy car, having a driver and so on, which is the typical thoughts about the CEO in Egypt, you know,
Yes. Yes.
from this frontliners. Yeah.
Yes.
So you buy them in, and they trust you, and you show them respect. So after finalizing this part of the round table, I start telling them about the company and about the change, what to expect. And that starting with the most important thing, it's about the culture of the company. When I came, I figured out that the culture of the company was a family business.
Wow.
So they all got used to this family spirit. And guess
Yes.
what? It's not bad. So why should we change it? Why should
Yes.
we transform it immediately to be a pure multinational, uh, which will not add any value? So we
True.
can always do both. We maintain the culture of the family, being very close to each other. It's an open door policy. Anyone can come to my office, speak about anything. I meet the people regularly. And at the same time, we started to embed the systems and processes gradually. You know,
Very
you
good.
don't want to do dramatic, you don't need to rock the boat, you know,
Exactly.
especially as far as the business is a successful business. Yani I
Great.
have started managing a business that it's successful, it's profitable. So why should we rock the boat and leave people to the negative thoughts about they were gonna
Leave.
ask
Or,
us to leave and so on, blah
yes.
blah blah.
Yes.
So that way, I built the relationship with the frontliners, with the middle management, and with the direct reports. And at the end of the round table, after I tell them about my vision and where I want to see the company heading towards, I ask them about their feedback, about their ideas, about their suggestions. And it's very important to give the maximum possible time to this part of the session. You know, once the people started to feel that they are heard from the new management
Yes.
at the early beginning, and guess what, I try to do as much as I can that any good idea that I get from these sessions, I implement it as
Excellent.
fast as possible, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was the way to make sure that the transition will be smooth, and the people will get rid of all the negative ideas that this new tycoon is
Yeah.
coming here to kick us out and to change everything, you know. So that was one of my experiences. Another experience, without mentioning the company,
Yeah.
but it was a big failure,
Yeah.
simply because all what happened is the contrary to what I have been mentioning now. It's the new big company coming saying, we know the right thing, you don't know the right thing, we
Yeah.
we know better, you are not up to our standards. So the
Yeah.
starting point was so negative, you know,
Yes.
and everything you are doing is wrong. Let us teach you the right things, how to do it. So in reality, every single employee was doing his job while thinking,
Of
how can
leaving.
I jump?
Yeah.
How can I jump out
Definitely.
of
Yeah.
this
Definitely. Yeah.
ship?
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and you immediately start to see people leaving, uh, and it's a chaos. You know, because you lose the loyalty of the people. Once you lost the loyalty of the people, even if they are in the job, you are not getting any added value.
Definitely.
You know, they are just ticking the
Yes.
box, and it is a disastrous situation. So I have seen both. I have seen both.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. That's a great Ahmad. I think our round of uploads are please.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
Please. It's
Thank you,
definitely
guys.
worth it. It's amazing story. Just to let you know, there is some technical challenge I can see on our streaming because there are no comments is appearing, but at the same time on LinkedIn there are people coming here and there. But whoever is listening and watching us right now, please
Yes,
ask
even
whatever question that you
leave
have.
question if there
Yes,
is after
Yeah,
after the show even, and you can leave questions and we
anytime,
will get to you.
anytime.
But definitely, I like the answer, Sharif, because it's all about the people. And as you said, you learned because you've been through successful mergers and the mergers that did not
Yeah,
work, acquisitions that did not work. So Definitely, I was going to say, because I remember when you were starting to be the general manager about these roundtables, it was really successful. And I remember then
Yeah,
when there was a lot of changes, you were there the first to announce that we are having some changes and all that, and listening to
yeah,
people. So what I was saying, that you're always your people's person, so you listen to people, and you, it's good that you try to implement. You have the now the
yeah,
power as a CEO to implement and do the change. So it's really excellent. I think you're leading a great environment, and much more success, I think, for Tag-El-Mlook in the coming period. It's
yeah.
really great to
Pleasure.
hear that.
Yeah,
Indeed,
thank you, Habib.
something.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
even if there is a technical problem, we don't have questions from outside. You both, I know you can bombard me with a lot of questions.
Yes.
Actually, we have many questions today.
I know, I know, I know.
We need to make use of your great experience, definitely, and your great stories that will change many lives who are listening and watching us today. So, I'll say there are many factors, honestly, when it comes to a success or a failure of acquisition or mergers. And I believe that you have also passed over all of these factors. So, from your great experience, what are those determining factors that could determine a success or a failure of acquisition or a mergers?
I will focus basically on acquisitions because this is
Yeah.
what is happening now in the market. A lot of it is
Yes.
happening, and I have seen at least three, four of them. Uh, when a big company decide to acquire a smaller company, they invest a lot of time and effort and money and resources on all the legal aspects and the P&L and L and the accounting things, and all this takes a lot of focus. And sometimes the people piece and the people management and change management piece,
Yeah.
it doesn't get enough
Time.
planning. It doesn't get enough thinking.
Yes.
My experience shows that in reality, this is the biggest factor that sometimes it helps this transition to be smooth or to be painful.
Yes.
You know, it's rarely happens that after you acquire a company, I have been in this several times, and you figure out that you have a huge problem on a legal side or a huge problem on finance area or in sales structure or whatever. All these things are quite known, and it's easy to have professionals discussing and talking about it and putting the right plans and know how to transform it. But when it comes to the culture piece, you know, and the decision of, am I going to enforce my culture of the big new company as is, or am I going to maintain the current culture of the company that I have acquired, or if I will allow the CEO and the management team to create a mix between both cultures. You know,
Yeah.
it rarely happens that people before the action decide on these things. So it comes by trial and error after the acquisition takes
Yes.
place. And this is turned to be my advice to myself, that at the first day of putting myself in the job, I align with the headquarters about this direction, you know. And my suggestion is that if the culture is good culture, that and keeping the people together like glue in that new entity, maintain it at the beginning. If you want to transform it slowly
Yeah.
and gradually, but do not impose it. But like, we are the big company, the multinational, you scrap your culture and
Yes.
just apply this. It doesn't work, you know.
Yes.
In reality, it doesn't work. I haven't seen it
Yes.
work,
Yes.
with the people. And the people would resist for no good reason rather than they are afraid.
Yes.
It's the panic
Yes.
mood, you know. Even if there are good changes, but because of the fear,
Yeah.
they don't
Yes.
even see the good thing in this change.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
So And then the other thing is that when you have an acquisition, you need to understand this acquisition is happening in Egypt or in Morocco or in Africa or in Europe, in another country in
Yeah.
Europe. You know,
Yeah.
it makes a lot of difference because the people in these parts of the world differs. Like in Egypt, people are emotional, either we like it
Yeah.
or not. You know,
Yes.
yeah, the most professionals in the middle management area in this family-owned business companies, they are professional, they are doing a great job, but also they are extremely emotional. You know,
Definitely human.
so you,
True.
yeah, humans. So you need
Mm.
to take this in consideration. You know, and this is honestly speaking what I have respected a lot in the latest acquisition that I have been in. I'm dealing with a German mentality. They really يعني accepted my recommendations and they really supported this. And it was easier for them to bring a German CEO, one of
Yeah.
the company over there who can come and run the show. But
True.
they did not done that. They decided to bring an Egyptian person, an Egyptian talent who worked in the region and who worked in
Mm.
Egypt. And even when I present to the from the early beginning, yani from the first presentation, after having 2 months and understanding the business and putting a strategic plan to the company, after 3 months, I went and presented to the board. And it was my first meeting with the full board.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of respect to the gentlemen there because they were asking a lot of questions, wanting to understand the country, the culture, the people, rather than challenging me. Yani it
Yeah.
was not about just challenging or imposing targets and
I
numbers,
get the
you
numbers,
know,
all that. You're not getting them.
rather than understanding, asking to understand. And a lot of questions were about the culture. So
Great.
this is something really I respected, and it made my job much easier, allowing me to
True.
do it the way I am convinced to do.
Yeah,
True.
it's
True.
it's not easy decision, as you said, Sharif, just for the acquisition itself. I like what you said, because failure of most acquisitions, it happens because you are looking into the number and you're not looking into
Yeah.
people, definitely. And when you're just blinded away by P&L only, you're
Yes.
looking at people as margins, you're looking at people as overheads, and you can move it out of just a number in
True.
P&L to make some savings. This will never happen, and this will make you annihilated away from the main objective. And I believe
Yeah.
that it's win-win, definitely. But here it comes, as you said, the style of leadership. How can you be transparent, and how you manage in a very calm way, and don't make too much waves of storms, or just a fear inside the organization. How can you manage it and be very transparent with people, because people really, they appreciate the transparency. But
And they test you.
one,
Yeah.
definitely, yes.
Yeah.
It's authenticity. It's matter of
Yes.
authenticity,
Yes.
credibility. They understand that
Yes.
if you care about them, do you care about them? Do you take that human side when you speak with them, or just you're dealing, as I said before, it's people like numbers. This really
Yeah.
what makes the real leadership inside such
True.
I'd say acquisitions.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. You're absolutely
And
right.
it's good that you moved it from like they were not the company, like the mother company. They don't have ego when they were going inside, and they said that they are going to get like a German or leadership or
Yeah.
something. And you also, when you're dealing with people, no ego. You're telling them that you are working with them, that you started from scratch also in your business and all that. So you connected with people, and I think that, like you said, it's all about connecting with people and making them feel that you're one of them. So
True.
great leadership, Sharif.
True. 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 And you always need to show people respect. Respect.
Yes.
Respect is the name of the game. You show them respect, and you do all what it takes to gain their trust. You will not get the trust just because you are in a leading position. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yes.
not that way.
Yes. I remember one story about that with you, even that we had the problem without mentioning any names. Problem, someone very talented. He's very good at his work, but he had like a problem with dealing with people and like shouting
Yeah,
or telling people that he knows everything. And you
yeah,
were working with him, but you were insisting that it's only about respect. It doesn't matter about your
true,
experience,
true.
about all that. You should deal with people with respect. So this was. Really what
Yeah,
matters.
I
Yeah.
remembered now what you are referring to, and you are absolutely right. Uh,
Yes.
you know, mistakes in the business happens. As long as we are
Yes.
doing business, wrong decisions can be taken, mistakes can
Yes.
happen. I never accused anybody that he has done a mistake. The problem is when you
Yeah.
repeat the mistake, the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
mistake. But do
Yes.
another mistake. I'm fine.
It's okay.
It's okay, because we will not learn unless
Yeah.
we work, and we have to
Yes.
accept that sometimes we will do mistakes. Okay,
True.
but we shouldn't repeat the mistake, because repeating the mistake is the problem. But
Yes.
what is,
100%.
I have zero tolerance to
Mm.
misbehave
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
insulting others,
Yes.
even if
Yes.
the positioning is that I'm doing that to get good results. No, I don't want these
Yeah.
good results. I don't need it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
if the good results
Completely.
will come behind insulting people, forget it.
Unacceptable.
There
Do
Yeah.
not be
Never.
stubborn.
definitely, yeah, there are definitely other ways with respect,
Yeah.
and you still can get better results.
True. True.
100%.
Yeah,
I think we have a question. Maybe it's hidden
Great.
question. It's not appearing. We have many questions. I'm trying to get it
tell me.
from LinkedIn.
Great.
So
Great.
so we apologize for this technical challenge.
Yeah.
But anyway, we have our friend Ahmad Abdelazim. He's asking what are the financial impacts for both companies regarding their liabilities and assets after acquisitions. I think it's a very great question from
Yeah.
Ahmad
Yeah,
Abdelazim.
yeah, yeah. Uh, and I can tell you, based on the experience I have been through, uh, the first acquisition I have attended, that was 20 years ago. The company that has been acquired were losing money year on year, and they have cumulative losses. And the multinational company that acquired it, they needed to, they have paid for certain buildings and infrastructure, but they have to pump in a lot of money for years after that to renovate the factories and to build new warehouses, new DCs, blah, blah, blah. So they spent several years pumping in money after the value of the sale itself. And the P&L stayed in the red zone for almost 3-4 years till it started to be in the green. That was a case. The case that we are in, the company P&L was extremely healthy, the company I'm leading now. So the bulk of the amount of money has been paid for the brand names, you know, because they have acquired a huge market share. يعني the Tag-El-Mlook and Cook's brands, they have
Yeah.
a very high market share. So the company, the Dr. Oetker, they have paid a lot of money, almost 60% of the value of the sale were mainly for buying the brands,
Yeah.
not the other infrastructure. And the P&L from day one, from year one, is profitable. It's profitable. So they started from year one getting the result of this investment, the revenue and the profit out of this investment. So it depends about the type of acquisition, the type of the company you're acquiring.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Sharif.
you, Sharif. I think I have
Thank you.
another question, Ahmad. Also, I was checking the same on LinkedIn.
Yes,
So I
please.
think it's a good question also from Jenny Said, our friend she's from Sweden. She's talking about acquiring, about if the brand should change. Should the brand acquired be the same, change, or change later? Sometimes
Ah,
this can be a do or die thing for the customers who have certain trust in the brand
yes,
acquired. So it's talking
yes.
about branding and the brand. So should they
This is
totally? That's a good.
this
Yeah,
is a great question also.
yeah,
يعني,
yeah,
I'm happy that I have heard this question. Uh, the starting point is when we acquired this company, is it just because of the technology, the infrastructure, the trucks, the people, blah, 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 or because of the brand?
Yeah.
And we have a story here in Egypt, it's very well known, which is when Frito-Lay's, the PepsiCo
Yeah.
snacks arm, acquired the company Shipsy,
Yes.
if
Yeah.
you remember. At the
Yeah.
beginning, they have done some efforts to transform the Shipsy brand to be Lay's.
Yeah.
And then they figured out that why should we reinvent the wheel? Yani why should we kill a successful brand? At that time, Shipsy potato chips was like 80% of the market.
Yes.
So why should we? So they just maneuver with the branding, the logo. It shows Lay's background, but it is Shipsy as a brand written as Shipsy, and they kept Shipsy brand. Currently, I am in a similar position when I joined the company, and that was the first uh, strategic choice. The headquarters asked me, should we, because Dr. Oetker brand is a very well-known brand worldwide in Europe and
Yes.
in the States and Canada and Australia. And it used to be in Egypt in the 90s. They had a trial to get in the market with whipping cream, and they didn't succeed at that time because
Yeah.
it was not a company-owned business. It was just a franchise, but it didn't succeed. Yani, they tried to enter the market and they left. And then my answer was as follows. We have two very solid brands with a huge market share. So why should we kill them? So it's
Yeah.
all about the brand architecture.
Yeah.
We launched Dr. Oetker brand, positioning it in a certain frame, and we maintain the other two brands. And now we are having three brands that we can
Great.
maneuver with them in the market. But it doesn't make any sense. It didn't make sense for me to kill any of the
Definitely.
successful brands. It doesn't mean that we have acquired a company and we have paid a lot of money in these brands, and
Yes.
then we kill them just to put a Dr. Oetker. Dr. Oetker can always have its way, and we also maintain the other two brands.
Yes.
Yeah.
It
Then
can
you
be
have to
like.
take,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. Go
it's a
ahead,
brand
Sharif.
architecture. Then
Yes.
the decision will be, again, strategically, you cannot spend on the three brands when it comes to above the line and
Yes.
spending marketing funds. And so you have to be selective, and you decide which brands you are going to spend on going above the line, and which brand it can work with social media and the new ways of marketing, you
Marketing.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how can you يعني, spend your marketing funds across the three brands, but you will not be able to put the three of them on TV, as an example.
Yeah.
So these are decisions to be taken. Yeah.
Yes.
Hope I have
Yeah. Great.
answered the question.
Nah, I think
It's
it's
lovely.
a great answer. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, lovely answer. And I think also, Sharif, after all you said, it's 100% over and over. I would say also add something here. I think there are many acquisitions and many levels of acquisitions could be at a company level, and as you said, could be at a brand level. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that if I have a company and I acquired a new company and I have multiple brands on it, I should kill it because it doesn't make sense. Why? Because each brand has an equity, and this
Yes.
equity define your financials, define how it's well connected with the consumer, define
Yes.
how it takes the market share in the market itself. So if you don't have a real strategy behind it, and
Yes.
it doesn't happen over day or night. You cannot say that it's harder transition if, as you said, that I will move from Shepsi into Lay's 100%. It will never happen because when it comes to
Yeah.
practical life, you have many constraints. It's not only about
Yes.
consumers. You have share of shelf. You have equity of the brand itself. If I put 100% of the shelf for Lay's, do you think that, and I removed Shepsi, 100% will come to Lay's? No, still there are.
No.
So there are many messages, as you said, could be a campaigns, media, how I will educate the consumer, how I will test. Maybe I will lose if I do this shift. I will lose a lot in my financials. So there
Yeah.
are many strategies behind it. Cannot be like
Yes.
hard transitions. Yeah,
Yes. It's
that's
I
not.
think,
It's
go
not
ahead,
one size
Sharif.
fits all. Yeah, it's not
Yes,
one
true,
size
exactly.
fits all.
true.
It requires a lot of thinking and evaluation of the brands you are having. As an example, if you are having one of the brands that you have acquired is too small and it will create complexity on the lines, it will affect your supply
Financial. Right.
and affect your financials and the profitability of this brand. Okay, you can kill it. But if you are having a brand that has contributes to a big chunk of your P&L, it has an equity, it has a market share, it has been in the market since the 1950s. Okay, so you cannot, and it's very profitable. So,
Why
okay,
kill it? Yeah,
keep it.
yeah,
Why
keep
kill
it.
it? Keep it,
What's
Yeah.
and
the
find the
Not
proper
a
brand
niche,
positioning.
market
Yeah,
niche or
find the
something.
yeah,
Yes,
find the proper positioning of the whatever new brand
yes.
you want to put in the market. But the decision of killing a brand, successful brand, it's from my point of view is not the right thing to do. But there is no one size fits all. It depends on a lot of analysis related to the brands that you are acquiring in the new company. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Sharif,
Definitely,
for this
definitely,
beautiful
Sharif.
answer. Really, it's beautiful. Thank you so much. So I'll come into the next question. I think we'll shift a little bit and focus on the people, as you said, because
Yeah.
you're people
Yeah.
oriented. So I think how to deal with people during that critical period of acquisitions or merger. Should you be very transparent with them to an extent that it could create some, I don't want to say fear, but it's some, oppositions and some adversity for their thoughts, or you can build just a walls to protect people from what's happening in the business. How to deal with this
Yeah.
transition, especially from people point of view.
And I will, it's a very good question. Yani. Thank you for this question. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I have faced also another challenge that when Dr. Otkar acquired Tag-El-Mlook, the whole team of the directors handling the functions, uh, every single one of them was working in an island, a separate island, you know,
Silos.
silos.
Mm.
Uh, Up to the level that you find the sales director, he goes to the owner, the owner of the company, and agree with him that next month we will gonna do a promotion. And the owner tells him, okay. And then the month starts and they figure out that he suddenly bombarded the factory with that he needs triple the quantities that he
Oh
needs.
my God. Oh.
And there is no raw materials. There is the finance guy has nothing to know about this
Zero
promotion,
knowledge about
zero.
that.
And the factory doesn't have the capacity to do that, and so on. And they never learned about this. Yani it was always that
Happening.
happening. Up to the level that the finance guy would go to the owner and they agreed that they will raise the price because the raw materials, some new prices has hit them. So they decide that we will increase the price, and the sales guy doesn't know. Yeah, you can imagine. And the
Yeah.
factory doesn't know that there will probably going to be a sales against price increase
Oh,
and so on.
oh my God. Yeah.
So I will now talk about the S&OP. That
Yeah.
was the first
Exactly.
process. That was the first and the only process I have done. Yeah, I have done two processes once I got into this challenge. The first one was the S&OP, and I have been attending every single meeting of the
Great.
S&OP, and you know the S&OP
Excellent.
better than me.
Yes.
Not only the last one, I have been attending every single one just to
Excellent. Yeah.
train the people how to discuss things and how
Yeah.
to come ready with what data from every
Yeah.
single function to run this S&OP meeting. It's not just
Yeah.
ticking the box that we have done a meeting.
Yes.
So that was the first thing I have done. The other thing I have done was the evaluation system for the people. You know, because the salary increases and the promotions used to be driven by the relation between the functional director and the owner, and they decide, Okay. And for the people, they don't understand why this has been promoted, why this has a higher salary increase, and so on. So I have established these two things. Transparency, I have been always extremely transparent, and you need to understand your people quite well, because the maturity level of your team is not exactly the same across the board.
True.
Exactly. Mm,
So you need, this is again about your skill of people management. You need to understand that there is no one size fits all. What I can discuss with you, Hamamsi, up to the level and up to transparency level that I know that it will not put you in a fear or in a panic. Maybe I don't take the same level with another gentleman because I
Yeah.
know, or a lady, because I know that it will put him
devastate
or her
everything.
Devastating. Yeah.
Yes.
in a
Yeah.
panic mood. So you
Yes.
need to filter this. But generally, the maximum information you can give to people, the maximum transparency is good, as long as they can handle it. And
Yes.
it's your role to judge who can handle what, you know, down the road. And then you raise their skills. Having a
Training.
director or a functional director, it doesn't mean that he doesn't need some coaching every now and then. He doesn't need one-to-one
Training
sessions,
or yeah.
training, and so on. Because in some companies, they feel that once he's a functional director, he or she, so they know they
They
don't need
know
any
everything.
further support.
Yeah.
They know
Yes.
everything, and they should handle their emotions, and they should handle their worries. And I have a lot of other things to do. No, managing my people and make sure that they don't have fears, and they are seeing exactly the same situation, and we are all on the same level of understanding against every single topic. It's very important just to say that I have a management team. It's not about having a functional heads or directors solid in every single function. It's about how you group them together in one room and how you make them work together. It's
Yeah.
exactly like I used to say it as far as diversity and inclusion. Yani. In the very old days, the diversity and inclusion was a very hot topic during the
Yes.
Pepsi era.
Everywhere.
And it was very important. And the starting point was that you need to hire more females, you need to hire blah, 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 you need to have this mix. And I always keep telling my colleagues, it's always easy to make the components that have the diversity that you want. But it's about how you make them live this
Work
and
together
live this
or live.
work
Yeah.
together. It's like I
Yes.
can invite you home. I can invite you in my home. But how can I make you feel home? You know,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
100%.
Uh,
Can I
so
ask you a hard one? A
please,
hard one. Maybe it's a hard question
I
on
got
that point.
used. I got used.
Yes, Sharif. So I'm thinking just if you know that there are certain people have been decided, or just if I'm at the CEO right now and a decision has been taken that certain people that they will leave the company because of the new restructure happens. How you deal with that transition? How you convey the message to those people, knowing their maturity level, knowing that it's not an easy one. How you convey this message to those people? I know it's not easy one, definitely,
It's not
because
easy one.
but yeah.
I have been put into this situation before, and I tell you, there are two ways to do it, and I have seen the people doing it in both ways. And I tell you the way I choose. One of them was that you keep the one who is going to leave, he or she, you keep her blind till the last moment,
Exactly.
and then to make sure that no negative impact will going to happen to the business. Okay, and you come suddenly and tell them, sorry, thank you very much, this is your package, you are not with us effective tomorrow. You know, this is a professional
Approach.
way approach from some leaders or some organizations. There is another way that I have done it before. is that I come 2 months ahead, and
Mhm.
I come and tell he or she, because of one, two, three, you are not going to be with us, because not because of your performance, it's because the job has been eliminated or whatever, and you were going to take the salary of the coming 2 months, but you are free to go focus on your life and on
Yeah.
looking for another job, and so on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
prefer this approach, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
Uh,
more fair. Yeah.
yeah, give the people the time
Exactly.
to look into another job. It's not, and the business, you can always find alternatives to keep the ship floating, you know. But
Yes.
again, this is about respect for the people. I
Yes.
don't keep him till last second or last moment and tell him at the end, he or she, you are not with us, just because I wanted him to perform until last day. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
That's true.
this
معلش يا
is not the
حمامسي.
way.
One, one,
Another
one,
one, please
one.
go ahead.
Yes,
Thank
Sharif.
you.
Uh, I could say the same, Sharif, and I agree 100% with you. It's the first approach that you mentioned. I think it's opposing all kinds of humanity, and it's
Yeah.
opposing all empathetic leadership. When it comes, I feel that if I'm a leader in that level, and I feel that it's a weakness that I cannot confront people and say them,
Yes.
this is what's happening, and I'm very transparent, and I
Yes.
could save them like time, like as you said, I know before by 3 months they can
Yeah.
start or just focusing on just finding somewhere or alternative outside, and they can save a lot of time, and for them, not
Of
only them,
course.
for their family. That's why it's empathetic leadership. It's very essential there, rather than just moving, get here the second day you're out, and thank you so much. It creates a big devastation for the person himself. Maybe I
Yes.
love the company, I hate at this time, I hate the company, I hate
Yeah.
everything related. So it's about the leadership style, and even at the
Yeah.
same time, like what you said, I can help people 3 months
Yes.
ahead. I can help them via my
Yes.
network. If I'm a leader,
Yes.
via my
Yes.
network, I
True.
can refer here. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
leadership,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it happens.
And, and,
Yeah. Yeah.
and again, this is back to the word respect. But
Yes.
True.
respect, it's about actions. يعني when you tell somebody or your people, I'm respecting you. طب يعني how can I
What's your
understand?
actions?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's nice. You
It's
are
not work.
respecting me, and you are
It's
telling
not
me
work.
that tomorrow I am not in the company, and then you show that you are
That's why we
respecting me.
respect you. That's why I respect you.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. When you need
Yes.
to walk the talk, when you
Yes.
say that people are our most important asset, you need to take actions showing and
Exactly.
People
proving
that,
that they are
yes.
really most important assets. It's not a slogan, because in a
True.
lot of companies they put it like a slogan. People are our most important asset. And then when you come to
What are you
actions,
doing?
you see that people are not in the radar screen. They are
Yes.
numbers, you know?
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, Sharif.
True,
Sharif,
Sharif.
But it's
it
very
But
was.
important. It's very important that when you are a CEO, you remember every single day you have seen and you have experienced life, when you are at the beginning of the ladder, and
yeah,
when you are in a middle management, and when you are a functional head, and now you are a CEO. If you will forget all of this experience, you will
you will
do a
not
lot of
succeed
mistakes.
as a
You will not
CEO. Yeah.
succeed.
100%.
Yes, yes, yes,
Definitely,
yes.
100%. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Great,
Thank you so
great,
much,
Sharif.
Sharif. Sharif,
Thank you,
just
guys.
as a final words for
Yeah, I
just
need
people
from your
who.
final words, for people, employees, managers going through mergers and acquisitions, or even COVID, economic crisis times, and all that. What's your final words for people? Because times are hard now. Not
Okay.
only
يعني
mergers and
if
acquisitions, COVID, all what's happening. Yeah.
uh, I will tell you out of my mind and out of my heart, uh, jobs working together, it's about trust and respect and collaboration, and the business will be يعني, if you leave a place, if you leave a company after a while, people will never remember the numbers and the market shares and the profits that you have
True.
done. They will remember you as a good guy, or a bad guy, having a good heart or not. So this is what people will always remember about you. So in day to day, when you are taking decisions impacting the people, remember this. Nobody will remember you after years saying that you have gained 3 share points and 2 numeric distribution points. You know,
Yes.
this will be forgotten, you know, but
True,
they will
true.
always remember you as a person. So
Yes.
I hope this is a clear message.
100% Sharif. Beautiful message يعني to end the show today, and really it was
Empathetic.
an honor to have you today.
It's
And
my pleasure, my honor, guys. Thank you very much.
yeah, thank you
Same
so
here,
much,
Sharif.
Sharif.
Thank you so much, and we apologize also for the technical issue that we
Yeah,
had
but I think we
today.
managed to took a
Enough
couple of
questions.
questions.
This is enough.
Yeah.
Yes, but we will try our
Uh,
best to come out also to our
yes,
audience, lovely audience. Again, Sharif, it's a pleasure to have you today. And we keep saying this, the knowledge that we have it today from you, it's a knowledge that we'll never find in books. So thank you
yes.
so much for your valuable time and a pleasure hosting you today. Hopefully that we
Thank
can
you
have a
so
Thank you
second
so
much.
episode.
much.
Yes,
I would love
yes.
to see
Thank
you
you.
very soon. Thank you very much. And really appreciated the time I've spent with you guys. Thank you. Thanks a million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sharif.
Sharif.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
Bye.
guys.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.